Andrew and Alex Hussey. Everybody we've talked to said, do you guys know the Hussey brothers? Have you heard of those guys? So I didn't know your first names, but now I know Andrew and Alex.
We thought you were twins.
Yeah, we thought we were twins.
Get it all the time.
But you're 9 years older?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice. So it sounds like entertainment kind of runs in the blood here.
It does indeed. Like we've been singing songs together for as long as we can remember. And then what did we call our big lift off? The house concert. We did a living room concert together when we lived together, and it was a big success. Filled our living room, but
Is it literally like you play in the living room and just invite people?
There's a touring musician comes through. Her name was Julia Nunes. Plays in our living room. They sell the tickets, so we had like 50 strangers show up, and
my parents did that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. They did it, I think it was last summer, and they told us they were going to go. Oh, I can't even remember who it was that was singing, but they're like, yeah, we're going to go in their living room. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? They're like, it's a thing.
Strangers' living rooms.
The other thing is that we kind of took it a step further. We rented chairs for everybody. Andrew made a bar with, and we kind of went a little bit beyond what the normal living room concert usually has.
Wow. And then it just evolved into, well, we're just going to have a theater.
Well, that is
the
very short version of it. But at that time, actually, I worked for Venties, doing a lot of their events. And as my Rolodex got bigger, I was having events in this small restaurant, removing every chair and table before I could get the band even to fit in there. And so I was dealing with big dreams with a small room.
Yeah.
Alex was working at the theater itself for Enlightened Theatrics as their technical director. And he had a big room, just needed some more dreams. So I took over. I came in October and just started using that experience that I had booking bands now with a bigger stage. And we had some work to do. We had some lighting and sound stuff to kind of get ready for the big music acts. But we're putting one foot in front of the other, and we've made some things happen so far. But October to January was just like, how can we make March and April look awesome? And so we finally are just starting to see the fruits of those ideas.
So the theater, you guys are located downtown. It's the Salem's
Historic
Grand Theater. Yeah. And we've been there before. We actually had I don't know if it's technically right above the theater, but we actually had an office there.
Oh, nice.
Up there.
For about a year and a half?
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago.
Was it?
I think it was 2017, 2018.
Yeah. I think back then it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was mostly plays that they would have there.
Yeah, it was strictly musical theater, and then they would try to pepper in events in between those blocks where musical theater wasn't in.
And were you a part of that back then?
So I came to the theater. Andrew actually got comp tickets from Venties to see Hair there in 2015. And I instantly got there and was like, this is the coolest place. The caliber of what they were putting on stage was above and beyond because they were flying out actors from New York, and it was a whole professional cast.
Wow.
And I just said, I want to work there. So in 2016, I just said, what can you do? And they put me on the board for the musical that summer, and I just kind of hung on ever since.
Wow. And your background coming into it was like theater production, or is it more like a technical issue?
I did a lot of sound mixing in high school. They got me a scholarship to go run sound in vocal jazz ensemble in Gresham. And then I did that for a couple of years and then just kind of kept in the audio realm until I ended up at the Grand. So
what happened with the Grand? Was there a certain transition where someone was like, I need to step out from running this, and this was like good timing?
I think Enlightened kind of ran its course, and I think they just needed to move on at some point. Vinny, the founder of the company, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, and so he went to go work for the family business. And I think after that transition is kind of where it went, in a different direction.
So it's just timing-wise, this is kind of perfect for you guys to kind of jump in and take over then.
Yeah. Well, we had always kind of been talking about how we could kind of fill the gaps in between the productions, because he was more or less in charge of the room. So he would say, hey, find something great in between February and May when there's nothing going on. But it was just so hard to kind of find like perfect fits for all of that. And so we'd kind of been on the table for a while. But then when I came in October, that was when we knew they were kind of be coming out of the theater. And so we got to really look at the whole calendar and say, okay, now how can we put all these pieces together? Like now let's start really making some calls. So,
and then you guys are you guys have switched, instead of it being like more of like a plays, you're taking it a whole different direction.
We're live music lovers for sure. We're comedy. We're comedy amateurs. But we know that we can't just put on shows for ourselves every single weekend and our 10
I
friends.
mean, that's
you
a
know?
dream, but
I mean, it sounds great. Believe me, we've looked at it. But so really kind of bringing variety. So we're opening up our scope kind of what kinds of entertainment we can bring. But we're definitely like trying to get some awesome like rock music or jam music in there. That's definitely like.
So you're kind of throwing stuff out there, kind of seeing what the response is to.
We're trying lots of different stuff, kind of seeing what sticks. And it's also super early, so we started with a lot of tribute bands and partnerships with guys like Jake and Ty have been awesome. Like Ty with bringing his comedy and having kind of a rotating mix coming through, and Jake with focusing on country artists, which were not necessarily country music people, but those partnerships with people that know their area and can bring it to the theater. So as many connections as we can make that way, not pretending like we're professionals in anything except for what kind of rock music we want to get on the stage randomly. So
that's really cool. Because are you finding that when people find out about the theater that this is an opportunity that you're getting a lot more calls and it's kind of being more varied as far as the type of events coming through?
Yeah, it's happening for sure. But the net still needs to get wider. There's a lot of touring artists and companies, and so we're making those steps for sure. And every time we remind ourselves, that not everything's exactly where it needs to be right now, but we've made so much progress looking back. And it's really a person by person kind of business, really like meeting somebody who's passionate about what we're doing and us the same way. So it's a networking game. It's a long game. But we've made in such a short time, we're looking back and being like, oh my gosh, we are moving forward, even though, the day to day can be.
Because you guys are doing something every week almost.
Pretty much. Yeah. We went, full calendar March. I think March, we went the whole, every Friday, Saturday without having an event, without being dark. Thursday, or April, we had a rental the beginning of the month, but everything else was pretty much full. That was our first sellout, was in April. So we've sold out one show in 3 months.
Yeah.
So
how many seats is it?
400 seats, we'll call it. Correct. And then we can take out the first 50 seats. And so we can have a dance floor in the front area, but then also as a result, have a higher capacity.
So when you say rental, people can come in and rent it from you for their own. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. It's a great place to have a party.
Yeah.
People have gotten married on the stage, and then there's a ballroom upstairs. So you can get married in a huge theater and then take it up to the ballroom with the disco ball.
Yeah. When we walked in it was the Salem Opry. When we went in there, Brian and I walked in, and I'm like, I had no idea this was here. And from outside, it's very deceiving, too, because you think it's just, I didn't have any idea.
It's almost like walking in the movie theater. It's like it gets bigger as you go in.
Yeah.
And then we just kept turning around.
How old is the building? It
was built in 1900, so it's 120 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it always been for that type of use, or is it?
That I don't know. I don't know the history as much.
I think I know that it's built by the Oddfellows.
That's correct.
It was?
Yeah, it's an Oddfellows building.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's tons of Oddfellows artifacts in there, and we're starting to pick at kind of what that history looks like. But then it was also definitely a performance venue. There's a big photo in our lobby that is Drew Barrymore's grandmother performed there in 1912 as a singer.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should get some history buff to come in and start unfolding all the layers.
And there's pictures, and there's so much documented, but it's all scattered throughout the building that you almost have to walk around and piece it all together.
There's a ghost in here somewhere. There is.
Oh, there's definitely a ghost.
There's definitely a ghost.
I'll have to show you a photo, one that I have, and I'm not one of the people that sees a ghost in the photo, but this picture of me, I'm like, holy crap!
Wait, I want to see this.
That's
photo
a ghost.
now.
You want to see it?
I want to see it.
Okay, cool.
Oh wow.
And so
a real ghost photo.
I'll preface this by saying that
he's like, I'm not crazy.
That 50% of the people that I show this
weekday
to
tours is kind of maybe the next thing.
Ghost hunters in there or something.
Funny you mentioned that. Well, we had a ghost hunter type movie premiere.
Yeah.
But we are also going to be highlighting the whole building during the month of October for Halloween.
Oh,
and we're going to be turning it into Ghosts of the Grand.
No way. So there's actually somebody I used to work with started working with a ghost hunting organization. And so they actually did a feature on one of the houses in Sublimity.
Oh, nice.
Because it was on some sort. I can't remember what their thing is called though. So it was Bonnie King that I used to work with.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be
So
much
Bonnie,
fun.
if you're listening, you should reach out to them.
There you go. Yeah, the Ghost of the Grand is going to be kind of like a walking tour throughout different parts of the theater with like live performance kind of mattered throughout, each of these areas.
That's
Really?
gonna be
It'll run
amazing.
all October long. So
And they're going to talk about the Oddfellows. One of the experiences will be an Oddfellows initiation ritual. And so you can see, like, they've got a lot of, like, architectural pieces that are already in there. And then you can go through kind of,
So it's like a haunted house for adults.
Kind of,
it
yeah.
is.
Interesting. So you guys have like a full bar and all that?
We're talking about speakeasies on every floor. That's a topic. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
It's definitely for adults.
It's definitely for adults.
Okay. So
Hey, we
here's-
brought our teenager there.
All right, so
So,
here's this picture. So it's just me. I'm in one of the basements coming out, some obviously creepy exit. So you see this white shadow along my face. So you see the black shadow along my face, right?
yeah.
And
I'm sure it's a really good picture.
And there's a white piece of light,
Brian wants to get it.
a white piece of light on my cheek here.
Okay.
And now if I zoom in, do you see a mouth right there? And then do you see the nose, the nostril?
Oh my gosh.
And then the white pupil and the dark pupil. So
Okay, so we're going to blow,
it is a
we're gonna
full-
blow this
That is
picture
a
up.
full-blown
it's
ghost.
a full face, right?
Yeah.
And it's an open mouth, and she's like,
It looks like she's trying to like scream at you like,
yes, exactly. Like she's almost like coming into my face. And
she's trying to take over your body.
I can. who knows if she succeeded or not? We don't know.
We don't know.
It could
Suddenly
be
we're
one.
having a ghost tour.
So
Yeah.
I saw that. It spooked me.
Did you
pretty
see
good.
it?
I
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you
We'll
have
have
to see
to
this.
we'll have to
So so we're coming in here. It's like, well, okay.
Let me move that.
So black shadow along my face.
yeah.
Now look at the white shadow on my face, and then that's a. Let's see. Let's see about a little more. So that's you can point out the mouth is right there, and then there's a nostril,
Right there.
and then
There's
eyeball,
an eye.
eyeball.
Okay, that's weird. That is weird. We're going to have to share that.
So we got ghosts.
You got ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
It's I mean, having the old building like that, you almost need to have a ghost.
Yeah.
It's got to add to the history and like the mystery of it, especially if it's like Oddfellows. Like you're probably gonna push on a wall and all of a sudden it's gonna open up one of these days and
Well,
you got a whole
up on the stage, there's a little cranny where you go in, and there was a whole nother room in there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always.
Did you know
new
any of this when
discoveries.
you bought it?
No, not really.
I mean, there's lots of. When you initially walked into the lobby, there was all sorts of Oddfellows artifacts. So,
Oh yeah, in the glass case.
we're starting to class it up a little bit for live music venues' sake, but we definitely plan on kind of dedicating more of a portion, like I said, collecting all that info so that people can read about the history and see it all in one space.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize Oddfellows were so prominent around here. So
They're
we've
quite
got
prominent,
they've
yeah.
got one out in Staten too. So
wow.
that one, yeah. So but you talked about the initiation piece. You said
Yeah.
you're gonna show that because I thought that was super hush hush, like you weren't allowed to
well,
know anything about
I mean,
it.
it's part of history now, but so people do know it. But not only are we going to be showing you, you're going to be doing what.
wow.
So like
do.
you could be an Oddfellow afterwards.
You will be
technically.
technically when it's all said and done.
If you've ever dreamed of being an Oddfellow, this is your moment.
Yeah.
And spoiler: a lot of what they did was blindfolded when they did it. So
Have you seen the
it doesn't get any
initiation?
spookier than that. I'm aware of it, but I don't want to spoil too much.
So we're gonna have to come out in October to see this thing.
Oh yeah,
gosh, we have to
it's
go.
going to be a must do for sure.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So what other kind of events do you have coming up, like with the next month or so?
So coming up, the next couple shows are really diverse, which we're really proud of. This weekend we have a Belly Dancer USA competition, and that's just somebody that's renting the space from us and then using it, for their own event. And then we're doing Make Music Day, a silent disco at Riverfront Park. It's just part of the Make Music Day festivities. Are you aware of that, of Make
No.
Music Day? So it's
I've never heard of it.
every June 21st. I guess you could probably
Yeah,
explain a
so
little bit.
it's an international holiday, and it's always held on the summer solstice. And the idea is that all of the restaurants downtown and beyond have live music for free all over.
Wow.
And then it all kind of culminates with a main stage in the Riverfront Park at the amphitheater. So it's goes from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it's free live music all day
So
all around
and
downtown.
silent disco is going to be,
So yes, so once
and that's with the headphones, right?
that's with the
Okay.
headphones, yeah. And so we're going to host it in the park near the amphitheater. So as shows end, people will kind of maybe stick around in the park and groove with us. But then at the end of the night, we're hoping that kind of everybody ends up at the park and we'll have 100 plus people grooving out. And there's 3 different channels, and so there's 3 DJs, and so you can choose your channel based on which which groove you're feeling, and so you can see if people are on the blue channel, people are on the red channel.
Oh, because it glows, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get everybody on red. You got to know what's going on. So you click over to red.
So anybody driving by, like, what the hell's going on?
Exactly.
over there?
But you're not going to break any noise ordinances or anything
No,
like that.
exactly.
Like, no?
Yeah, it's mostly a spectacle than anything, but it's a lot of fun.
Have you ever
It's
seen
a
one?
good way to end the
I've
night.
seen it because they have them on cruises a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we've never done.
We've never done anything
Yeah,
like that
it'd be
before.
kinda-
but,
Especially
yeah.
in an outdoor setting, after a long day of music, I think it's going to be a good way to cap it.
Someone's going to drive by and be like, what is happening down there? Oh, great Salem.
Yeah.
So after that, we've got our fourth edition of the Oregon Opry, Toast and Jam, Rich Swinger, and one other person.
Yeah, they're doing good.
He is. Jake is really wonderful, and he's doing a good job of cultivating good acts. And then the week after that, we have a magician / ventriloquist / comedian,
Ooh.
Andy Gross. He's a former national racquetball player, but he has some views. They're it's kind of like public spook meets magic, but one of his videos has 1 billion views. So he's
Wow.
A billion?
a billion with a B.
Wow.
What's the video of?
It's actually of him getting. I just found this out this morning. Actually, it's actually of him appearing to be sawed in half, in public, he's on the street and his torso falls off or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's bizarre, but I don't know. It's it's public shock magic.
Okay.
That's one of his things. Yeah. And then what's the other one? Oh, we've got dueling pianos on the 28th.
Oh, those are fine.
They're great, especially in the theater setting, and we can do all ages. So when kids get a hold of the request slip, we'll just watch out. They get very ambitious.
Yeah, we used to do. They had that up in Portland. The
What was that?
dueling
Was it Wallbangers?
Wallbangers.
Yeah,
Oh,
they had
cool.
dueling pianos up there.
Yeah.
So
You
we
get a
were
couple
there.
drinks in you, and you're slide it over all
We
place.
saw it in Vegas too. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've stayed in New York a lot, and every time I walk by, it's it looks fun, but there's way too many people in there.
There's so many
Yeah,
people that
there's
come
so
around.
many.
The nice thing about the theater is, it's it's really spread out. It's comfortable, which was an aspect I really liked about it.
Yeah. One thing I really like about your theater is it's the way it's set up. It's it feels like you're up against the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very intimate. You can be able to see clearly from all the angles.
Yeah.
The way it's set up. It's not like you're in the nosebleeds. There's
Yeah.
not really
No
not real
seats,
nosebleeds. So that's always a good thing to have when you go to a venue. You can actually see it. You feel like you're part of it a little bit.
For sure.
So how does that work being in such close proximity to another theater that we have? in
Yeah.
town? Do you guys partner on anything or?
We partner with a lot of people. We haven't really figured out how the best way for two theaters to work side by side goes. They're 3 times larger than us, and so they're doing things on a much different scale. So, and the Grand's been around for a long time, but it's being operated differently now that we're here. So, I just don't know that they have a need necessarily for anything that we're offering. But what I'm excited about is that you can drop in downtown. There's a ton of good places to eat, and there's tons of options for entertainment. So we're just excited to be a part of what could really be this nice congealed downtown entertainment, and a real reason to stay in Salem on the weekends, and to be excited to go see a good show and sleep in your own bed.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's what we're offering is a really nice piece of the fabric,
Well, especially because you've got the new hotel not too far
Yeah,
away.
the Holman, it's great.
Yeah, so people are coming in and they're coming specifically for a show that you have.
Yeah.
They've got great options now to go ahead and
And you got a lot of mixed use buildings going up, which people are buying into those. I want to live downtown.
Yeah.
So they're the types I want to go see shows.
Yeah.
I just want to walk down and go see it and walk home.
Exactly.
I feel like it's changing so fast down there.
It really does feel that way. Yeah. And we just love all of our restaurant neighbors.
What's that restaurant? It's right around the corner from you guys.
So there's one we have a connecting door with. That's Paradiso. And
Is that the one that's on the corner?
That's the one on
that
the
used
corner.
to have the blinds?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
it was like a private.
It was a private club for
Yeah.
half a minute. Yes.
and
For
then-
half a minute.
Yeah.
I always try to look over and
We
say,
would be like-
yeah.
You're not welcome.
Yeah.
And then we have Palomino's, a door down from them. They just opened. I mean,
Yeah. Because they used to be a different restaurant.
They used to be a
Kitchen?
kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good place. We haven't been to this new place yet, though.
It's pretty fantastic.
What kind of food is it?
It's,
I'm hungry now, so.
It's Spanish, I would say, to start. Not Mexican. It's like Spanish.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's very fancy and delicious.
That's awesome.
And then
So you can go eat and like, I'm not going to be late for the show because it's literally just around the corner.
Literally feet away.
Yeah.
And we always try to pepper them with some free tickets. So you could be sitting at dinner not expecting to go to a show.
Oh,
and you could
very
be
good
graced. You could be graced with, hey, pop in and check it out. And maybe it's the show for you. And maybe that's how a first date turns into a
Well, just go sit there and like just
wait for that. They're like,
Yeah.
what are you guys
See,
doing?
is there a Hussey
tonight?
brother
Well,
around
let me
here?
see what
Let's
the
go
night
sit
takes.
I tell them, I go, give them to your best customers. Make sure they earn it, So, and we've got Epilogue down the other way, and they've just been super wonderful in helping us promote, and just a lot of advocates, just in a very short space. Everybody's like dinner and a show.
I love it. And it's all relationship building too.
For sure.
With all the
It's been the most fun out of it all, and the most rewarding is just getting to meet all these wonderful people and like
very cool.
kind of associate with them too, which is great.
I like how you guys are working the doors. You guys are working the lights. You're not only running the show, but you're a part of it. So you know what the entertainers want out of being there, and you know what the customers are going to expect when they walk in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to give everybody kind of something that they want, and know like where maybe the shortcomings are that you need to like work on.
Yeah, and that's a nice thing about being in the front is we're able to really, and also the size of our theater is we're able to accommodate everyone and make sure everybody's comfortable as they walk in person by person. If it was any bigger, it'd be too hard to do. But I think I really enjoy that part. The customer attention to detail for the customer has been something we're really proud of.
Do you have other family members that work there with you, or is it just you two?
My nephew, Andrew's son, he runs the cash register.
Okay.
Andrew's wife sometimes helps from time to time, but that's kind of the family unit that's helping kind of make that thing run.
She does my wife does our floral arrangements in the green room, and then Alex's wife does a lot of. She'll show up and she'll be like, well, you guys obviously need this and this and this, and she's like has an organizational mind, and so we get new stuff in the mail and we're like, what's this for? She's like, well, that's where you hang all these things that are sitting here for.
She's like, out of the way.
That makes sense. Yeah, she cleans things up with the tool of organization.
What was your first event as you guys were officially opening up? What was the first event that you guys had?
What was it?
Oh, I know. It was us. It was New Year's Eve.
So you're going to show up.
We probably forgot. It was
Guaranteed.
It was my band Jamelia, his band Wild Ire, and a third band, and it was New Year's Eve. We hadn't taken out those first 50 seats yet for the dance floor, so we spent the morning figuring out if wires can be cut. Or we're gonna get shocked. Desperately finding buddies to like lift up these heavy chairs, trying to practice with our bands, also setting up concessions and running the doors for the first time. By the time that night was over, we were just like blobs of sweat and tired, but it was fulfilling. But holy crap, that was an exhausting day.
Was it nerve wracking? Like as soon as you opened up the doors,
unbelievably. Just because all of the moving pieces, there was just so many of them. If I wasn't performing and it was New Year's Eve, we probably could have survived it. But he's also kind of running sound. He was like running sound for my band, and then we employed a couple people to run sound, to like be stagehands. So just mentally and physically taxing. But it would have been really sad if nobody showed up. But we sold like 200 tickets. Yeah, we had an audience our first night, and especially for New Year's. Yeah. So we were really shocked and happy about it.
I imagine that's probably as entertainers, that's probably the stressful part of your job is like you're throwing a party and you're hoping people are going to show up.
And we've done it before, and we've had great success doing it all of the time and having to keep a calendar. And we try as much as possible not to guess. We like when people come to us and they say, I have an idea, I want to run with it. But then sometimes you have to fill a date and we're like, what does Salem want this day? And so that is nerve-wracking. And we've had to play, a lot of times the law of averages, have a really good night a month. And then you can have a night that maybe doesn't do as well and use it as a stepping stone. But we try not to guess as much as possible. We try to, really use the facts.
So what is your like minimum that you want to see filled up as far as like when you throw an event there? Is there like a minimum? Like I want to see 100 seats filled.
100 seats looks good in the bottom floor. You can leave the balcony closed and have a full theater and attentive audience, and ticket sales you're probably gonna break close to even. And then if it's a drinking crowd, you hope you sell a lot of M&Ms and Coors Lights or something. But so 100 is kind of our magic number. We've started trying to open up the balcony a little bit more just because some people really do love those first two rows, knowing they can sit down the whole time if they want, still have a good view. The sound's a little bit quieter up there. So we're trying to get that number up. Our goal is to kind of have an average of 200 seats a night.
Yeah.
Leave that balcony open all the time, and that's going to be the sweet spot. And one sellout a month. We want one sellout a month.
So what was the one that you actually sold out on so far?
Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Oh, that's a good band.
Yeah.
They were great.
They sold, I think, 430 tickets for that show, and it was a party the whole night.
Wow.
They used to play there all the time back in the 90s. And so when we first started,
I remember them from the 90s. I used to listen to them.
People say two things when they walk in. They say, I saw Portland wrestling here, or I saw the Cherry Poppin' Daddies here. And so when it was like, who should we book? Well, the first people we went after was Cherry Poppin' Daddies, and it took a couple months, but
They had wrestling there?
they had Portland wrestling. So that stage didn't used to be as big as it was when you saw it.
Okay.
I think it went back a couple feet. So that bottom area, and they didn't have the theater chairs. It was just a floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a flat enough area where they'd set up rings. I guess Superfly Snukas wrestled there, and I heard a couple other names that I'd recognize. Yeah, Portland wrestling, like pretty regular. I think I want to say like late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you guys got the building, what sort of renovations and everything like that did you guys have to do? Or did you have to really do any right out of the chute?
We had it easy.
Yeah.
You had it easy.
It was a turnkey operation. It's because they renovated it for Enlightened Theatrics in 2016.
Okay.
So we had to take the seats out. We've made some lighting. We upgraded our lighting package big time. And we're doing some tweaks to the sound, but nothing too crazy because most of the stuff is in really good shape because the theater company, doesn't run subs or for their house performances. So
it's much kinder on the whole system. So it's pretty much brand new.
Yeah.
And so it's made things easy to work with.
Wow. So having a big band come through like that, is this kind of like a launchy point where it's like now we've got like them coming through, it's going to be easier.
You can
to
see
get
the
other ones?
future for sure.
Yeah.
A night like that where the place is packed and
see all the
everybody's
potential of it.
bopping, you're like, oh, how do you repeat?
Yeah.
And we've got some big bookings coming up, and and a lot of different stuff with this Ghost to the Grand thing. We're like, oh my gosh, we're doing a haunted house for a month. We had to move some pretty great bookings in order to make that happen. But the sky's the limit, essentially. It's like, where can we find that sweet spot to where you can get 450 people having a really great time and really happy to just be downtown,
Wow. So when you guys got into this, you guys have to pay bills there. Do you?
True.
Is it?
They're like, yes, those are a thing.
Unfortunately, we all have to pay the bills. Is it? Do you make your money through the concessions, or is it through a balance of both the the tickets and the
Most of the
concessions?
time, it's concessions. It's ticket sales can do their job after that 100 person mark. We're starting to share the ticket profits with the artists as opposed to pretty much the first 100 seats are going to go all to the artists.
Yeah.
And so if we can do a 200 person show, the house makes money in that way. But for the most part, we hope that these 100 people show up and buy drinks.
Yeah.
Sorry, and popcorn. We call ourselves popcorn dealers. So pretty much.
Popcorn dealers.
That's the foundation of the business. Is
Yeah.
how much popcorn can we sell? And it's sustained us to this point. But yeah, when you get a night like a sellout night where people are drinking and it's like having a good time, that's where we finally see some profit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Go have dinner around the corner, but save room for the popcorn.
save room for the popcorn.
Who's your dream performer to come through?
Yeah.
Or performers?
I don't know.
We can tag him. I don't know if it's
I
going
know,
to do
it's
any
like you
good.
can put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
If you're listening.
I don't know. In a realistic sense, I saw that Creed played a 600 person venue.
Whoa.
And I was like, that could potentially be cool.
Yeah.
So it's always just finding out what that guarantee is that they're expecting in order to play. But
Yeah.
I'm always trying to keep myself in the realm of what's possible, but maybe just out of reach and see if it's
We've talked a lot about the Decemberists.
Oh yeah.
They're playing at Edgefield, so they're a little bit too big for the britches now, but they've played smaller shows too, and so I always try to think of how could we have a charity benefit to where you could get Dave Matthews to come through and do 3 songs and be on his
Oh
way.
my God. How many people would show up for that?
And he played. Dave Matthews actually. We're big Dave fans. He played at the Aladdin pre-COVID, 2018 or something. He did 3 songs as part of a benefit show, and the Aladdin and our theater are the same size. So it's not impossible. It's not the word.
Yeah.
Saying there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I know someone who's big Dave Matthews fan,
Yeah.
and he just plays it on repeat.
Yeah.
Just all the time. He's kind of one of those people that'll probably just follow him around on his tour.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we've done a handful of show watching in that regard. And then I'm a really big fan of an artist named Mike Love right now. Not the Beach Boys Mike Love. He's a reggae artist that does a lot of loop pedal stuff, which is kind of what I do in my my musical business currently. And he's not too big for this theater, so we're in touch. And if I could, we've missed a cross paths on a couple dates, but if I could get him to play, and that actually happens, I'll probably.
What's his name again?
His name is Mike Love.
Mike Love. I remembered. I just wanted you to say it again.
Fantastic songs, really fantastic songs, and they haven't said no. It's just all a matter of timing, and you know, for Salem, you know, you're in competition with Portland and Bend, so a lot of our bookings have been, you have to kind of be right place, right time, for the routing to work out, and so you just have to stay in touch. Most of what I do is just stay in touch and remind them that we're here, and
offer free popcorn.
Yeah, what's the route? Is it people just kind of, they just go through Portland? They just kind of skip Salem altogether? Is it?
Well, a lot of times Portland will put a radius clause and say, hey, you can't travel within 50 miles of here, and we're like 48 miles, and 50 miles north there's nothing, and so it really only applies to Salem. And I'm hoping, you know, if we can build a good enough reputation that eventually, you know, if they can switch that to 45 miles and let us have our own market, you know, I think we could both happily exist. So, but that'll take time to do. But you know, I'd like to think big picture that could possibly happen if, you know, Salem gets its own market. We could see a lot more talent coming through.
So as musicians, you guys are, what do you play?
I play acoustic guitar. I'm a singer by trade.
Okay.
I sing and play keyboards.
Okay. And you guys play together, or you guys are in separate?
We lived together during the pandemic, and so we put together our little Hussey Brothers set. So, yeah, we definitely do our thing. But yeah, typically separate bands. I've been doing my jam band thing for a long time, and he's in his prog rock thing with people more his age.
That's awesome. So is it like a family thing, like your parents, you know, are musicians, or you just kind of picked it up along the way?
Mom's side is incredibly musical. Dad's side is incredibly unmusical. And there's three brothers. We have one in the middle, and he got dad's genes, and we got.
He's like, I want to play with you. You're like,
yeah. You give him a tambourine, just make it feel
even that. And he gets so excited too. You give him an instrument, he's really happy. He just can't figure out what to do with it. Sorry, Ben. I love you.
So musicians, and you're bringing in these big bands that you kind of grew up listening to. That's got to be something pretty special.
It is. It's so yeah. It's a dream come true
for sure.
And it's also like it's. No, I don't want to say this. It's a long way to go because we've done so many things right, but the road to progress. Every day we have to kind of think what steps we have to be really intentional about it. Where everything that we've done before is just like shooting from the hip and kind of going with the flow. And so our strategy is always changing and growing as we get kind of this more professional environment. But it's been a road. It's been really fun.
And how long you guys been doing this with the theater? Was it just this started earlier last year?
We got the keys in January. We started having our real shows in March. But we're just kind of getting lifted off.
Yeah. So you still got more months to go through to kind of figure out like what fits in what month.
Absolutely. And in our September, like I think by the time we get to the fall, when the Oregon summer starts to slow down and people start staying in town more, we're really looking forward to those months where people are going to be kind of staying in town.
The rainy months.
Yeah.
We've never loved the rainy months more than we do now. Never thought I'd say that, but here we are.
Are you gonna do anything like any sort of Christmas stuff there?
I think that's something that we're definitely excited about.
Yeah.
Is what to do with the holiday season. This last December, Enlightened Theatrics was still in the space, so we didn't really have as much opportunity. But I think Salem loves Christmas time, and so I think it'll be a profitable month.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, are you've stepped away from the musicals and the like the play type productions, but do you see that coming back eventually, maybe at some point, or they just take up so much of the theater time?
Time is definitely a value when you have a space and the rent that we have to pay.
Yeah.
So we definitely like to find room for it though, because we want to add to that variety, and there's a huge community for it. There's a lot of theater performers and supporters here, so we definitely want to contribute to that. But we haven't been able to look at a calendar and be like, oh, can we cross off these 3 weeks? It's just a lot of time. So we'll find our sweet spot, but. Yeah, we're not there yet.
And most of the stuff happens on like Fridays and Saturdays, right? It's evening time shows. People are off work, but you don't probably have a lot of daytime stuff, or is that just rented out for like personal type use?
Well, we would love to. And I think once we get on people's radar as an event space, I think we could do a lot more daytime stuff. And right now we're shooting just to make Thursday nights a thing. If we can do something on Thursday nights, even a couple times a month, that would be really great for us. So we're just finally getting the weekends taken care of for pretty much throughout the rest of the year. And then it'll kind of shift to how can we do Thursdays. And then if we're lucky, finding just any kind of use for the theater because it's there. It's there for whoever needs it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, you guys spend your days picking up popcorn probably. So.
We have people for that.
We have people for
That's
that.
good. That's good.
We have kids for
We
that.
leave that to the professionals.
That's awesome. So, the theater, I can see why, because a theater production usually runs a whole month, and I don't know how much of that really takes up the entire theater for a production each time. So,
especially rehearsal and prop
I
setup.
didn't even think about that.
And the lighting plot changes. This, the set is on stage, so you're stuck in whatever mode that musical is in for that duration of time.
Are you guys able to like do movies there?
We can. There is a really wonderful theater down the road, Salem Cinema.
Yeah.
They kind of show some older stuff, and so. We haven't figured out. We've talked about it, and the only movie I can think of that I want to show is Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but we can't seem to get past that.
That was such a good one.
I know. I just want to watch that on the big screen again. But
Especially in a theater like that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
If you get some performers that kind of do some live action, almost like what's that that show that everybody like the Rocky Horror where everybody
We do that.
Yeah, we're doing that in October.
That's
Are
what
you?
happened
Are you
in October.
really?
Yeah.
October sounds like it's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be lit. But we are also showing Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs in July, and you get a snack pack that you eat the things that you're seeing on the screen.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So calling it Film to Table.
Film to table.
Anytime you can bring in like kids, that's a whole that's 5 seats there.
When are you doing that in July?
It is the 20th?
20th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The inaugural Film to Table. We'll probably do a holiday version too. So
that'd be so fun.
I mean, we won't do Elf where Buddy's eating maple syrup on spaghetti, but we'll find something that's a little bit
kids that would
tastier.
probably do it. They're like,
I bet you.
Yeah.
Sell tickets.
Okay, kids, go home with your parents. Enjoy that.
be a sticky theater afterwards.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how can we support you guys? I mean, I guess what keeps you up late at night? Is it filling the seats?
I like how they both take deep breaths at the same time. They're like, how
just sit in
long
the
do you
office with us for a day. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is exposure. The less, in the long term, the less we have to work on telling people about the shows, and we can focus on making the experience better, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah.
And so the more we do things like this and get the word out so that people don't have to be force-fed the information and that they kind of check on the website, hey, I'm going downtown, let's see what's going on this weekend. To kind of create the culture will take a lot of pressure off of us because we're putting together this really top-tier entertainment. But if we're spending all of our time advertising it, it just takes away from other things that we can be offering. And so our wheelhouse is really creating a great customer experience. Yeah. And but the marketing stuff, you have to kind of there's a lot to be built, and not to say that we want to like never have to deal with marketing again, but to get as much engagement with our community and participation as widely as possible, so that it's more of just like a second nature to check that what we're doing, to check the events that we're having. That'll just help build so much of the infrastructure that allow us to bring in bigger acts. The more I can be calling people and booking, the better off that we're going to be.
Well, as far as your more successful events, has it been word of mouth, or has it been just the notoriety of the events coming in?
So we use Cherry Poppin' as our example. It's the organic. It showed what organic reach can do. One person likes it and shares it with a friend. Oh my gosh, this is something we're excited about, just because they already had this like big Salem infrastructure. Yeah, that generated a sellout. It's not we put probably less marketing into that than we did than all of our other events, because the organic marketing was taking place. And so the more that we can make that happen, that's what we're trying to create, is how can we make an organic marketing structure. And it just takes time. It takes time, and also to build a reputation that people trust us and want to come see the things that we're offering.
What type of ticket sales was for that event? I mean, was it how much? It
was $35 general admission. We now have a reserved seating option that we're kind of dabbling in, but at that time it was you can sit anywhere, and
It's cheaper than going to movies.
We try to keep all of our tickets at the very most under $40, but we're averaging for like a $25 average ticket price, and then maybe even separating that and have a cheaper balcony.
And that kind of puts you guys in a good range where it's like people are like, I'm downtown. What's there to do?
Yep.
And they can make a split second decision. Let's go over here.
Exactly.
So it's a good way to people don't have to plan out. Like we're going to go to this big event. We're planning on going to Aerosmith, and the tickets were so expensive.
Oh yeah, it got canceled too because we were going to go last November.
Yeah.
And so I can't remember how soon before. All of a sudden it got canceled. And they're like, so you don't get a refund. And we're like, what do you mean you don't get a refund? They're like, we'll let you know in the future
was it
date.
Steven Tyler's voice?
Yeah, I think he had like, something with his voice.
Oh, that was
so
recently, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was around, like right before Thanksgiving. And so you don't get a refund, but when it reschedules, we'll let you know. And if you want a refund because it doesn't work then you can get your refund.
Yeah.
I was kind of so bitter at that point that when we got the email a couple weeks ago, like, hey, this is when the new concert is, I was like, give me my refund. I was like, well, and we started talking about it. I was like, okay, so and we didn't have great tickets, but it was almost $1,000 for 2 tickets, like 982, I think. Then we would have to find a place to stay, and then we'd have to find transportation over there. And I'm like, we could go to Mexico for like the weekend.
That's the funny thing about bands is like, when they're first starting out, ticket prices are low, and then when they get big, the ticket prices are high. As they kind of wane down, and ticket prices go low. But as they're getting up to an age where it's like they may not make it to the next one, all of a sudden ticket prices go way up.
We're like, okay, this may be our only chance to see it. But at the same time, like then we came to Salem Opry, and I'm like, we literally parked like 2 blocks away. We grabbed dinner. We were able to walk over like within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I could do that like 10 times.
It's easy.
Yeah.
An extension of your living room, as we like to call it.
I like it.
And the drinks were reasonably priced too. It wasn't like going to like
You had Brian's favorite new drink there?
It's not Moda Center prices, but it's not Den prices either. So we're only open a couple days a week, so the popcorn is a little taxed, but
I got the Crown Royal Coke.
No, the Jack and Coke.
It was the Jack and
Coke.
Coke.
He was so excited when I came out. I'm like, look what I found you.
Yeah, it was very user friendly.
Yeah.
I love it. So you guys are on Instagram?
We are. Instagram at Salem's Historic Grand Theater. Facebook, that's a story. Since we started, nobody has the password or permissions to the Grand Theater Facebook. I've battled with Meta. I've sent them every orifice of my body to prove to them that I am a person and that I belong there. I cannot get any kind of permission. So we are doing all of our Facebook events through To The Ceiling Entertainment. So facebook.com/To The Ceiling Entertainment.
Okay. And then you have a website?
We have a website, To The Ceiling Entertainment.
To The Ceiling.
That's where you can buy tickets too, because
so tickets you can it will kick you back to salemshg.com, which is the Grand Theater website. We're kind of using both of them in tandem. And you click on any links, it kind of sends you back and forth. But
because we know if we buy tickets ahead of time, it's cheaper.
Yeah,
than getting them at the door. So
you actually save at the door. There's some ticketing fees we don't have to charge you if you get them online. Oh, actually, that depends. Some artists up the ticket price the day of the show.
Yeah. It was the Opry.
Yeah, I think they do 15 and 20.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty good. So we know where you guys are at. We know your website for getting tickets. And how do people get notifications of new events coming up? Is there like a newsletter they can?
There absolutely is. We've got an email list, and it's got all of our new announcements. So you'll get definitely the first info about things that are coming out. You'll also send detailed biographies about the artists, so you can learn more about maybe artists that you didn't know about. You guys get a reason to get excited about stuff, and you can get that on our website. Our email list is at the bottom of both of our websites.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that because I'll be like, oh, I missed that.
It's our favorite way to market because Facebook, you just never know what you're going to get as far as when you're going to see our content and when you're not. But the email, it's going to your box, and there's always something new.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out. And we're gonna put all your links on the podcast site so people can find you and know where you're at and see some of these events coming up. So what's the big one you want everybody to know about that's coming within the next year?
Besides October.
Besides October. Well, so there's Can I name two?
Yes.
So
Name them all.
Okay, so we have Fran Lebowitz coming, an iconic American journalist from the 1970s.
Yeah.
That she is coming out to do a book signing, and she doesn't come out west very much at all, and that was a big get for us, and that's happening in September on a Monday. And then I just booked you guys are the first ones to hear about it. Rebirth Brass Band from New Orleans. Big time, Dirty Nylons music coming on September 21st. That's going to be a big one.
Awesome. It's pretty cool. So, thanks for coming in, and we look forward to kind of seeing what you guys are going to bring to Salem. It's really cool to see Salem growing in this way. It's where it's, a lot more things going on downtown, because we used to come, before when we had little kids, and we would not have them for a night. We'd come downtown like, okay, we can go to a movie, we can go out for dinner, and that's about it. So now we got options. We got concerts we can go to. We got comedy shows. There's so much more stuff to do around here that I think it gives people a lot more options for deciding to come into downtown Salem and kind of seeing what it's all about and seeing the growth of it. And so we're glad you guys are a part of it.
Absolutely happy to be a part of it.
All right, thanks for coming in.
All right,
thanks, guys.
Have a nice.